Okay, so what did you guys get for 5.3 number 1? And this goes for everyone that is in the Zoom as well. Since we are being recorded, just use the chat feature, please. What did you guys get? Wow, talk to your group today. Anyone? Wow, okay. What about meiosis 1? Do you guys think that's correct? Yes? Okay, so number 1 is meiosis 1. If I can spell it today. Meiosis 1. Okay, what about the next one? What about number 2? Anyone? Well, 2 cells form. So is that past meiosis 1? A few of you are shaking your heads, yes. Wake up, come on. So meiosis what? 2. Come on, you guys can do this. Okay. 4 sex cells form with half the number of the chromosomes as the parental cells. Is that in meiosis 1, meiosis 2, or end of meiosis? Good, thank you. Four, the chromosomes are copied before meiosis, meiosis 1, 2, or end. When are they copied? Which one haven't we covered? Before meiosis, right? Okay. Five, why is it important that sex cells have half the number of the chromosomes as body cells? Anyone online too? Well, if the sex cells had more than half and reproduction took place, would the offspring have more than 23 pairs of chromosomes? Yeah, what would that be, good or bad? What do you guys think? It would be what? Bad. It'd be a mutation. And not necessarily all mutations are good. Okay. So good morning, Jackie. I know that's a significant amount for you guys to write, but honestly, it's the exact answer that you need to write. So,
Mr. Weber,
yes.
it's hard to see all the writing that you're doing because it's like blurry since it's being shared and it's not zoomed in. Could you possibly zoom in a little bit?
Yep. Is that better, everyone? Yes? Okay. So 5 is when the male and the female cells combine, they will form the exact amount of paired, chromosomes that is needed for a healthy organism, which is 23 pairs. Okay. Any more than 23 and a mutation will take place, which could be harmful to the organism. Remember, some mutations are good, some mutations not so much. So 6, the process by which the number of chromosomes is reduced by half to form a sex cells is called what? What process did we just talk about? Mitosis, meiosis, or what? What? Meiosis, right? Seven, during blank, genetic material from two parents combines to produce a new organism. That is reproduction. And 8, a blank cell contains two sets of chromosomes, one set from each parent. Is that an organism or a diploid? What does online think? Give you a hint. It starts with a D.
I'm still typing answer 5.
That's okay. So 8 is diploid. So at this moment, I'm going to pause the recording to let everyone catch up. Okay, so get your notes out or open your Chromebooks. If you need to take notes in your Chromebook, I highly suggest the Chromebook because, well, as many students have discovered, if you actually download this PowerPoint from Google Classroom and put it into Google Slides, you can literally copy and paste over the notes. It saves you time, it's very efficient, and it saves on misspelling. So we're going to go over genes, not the ones that you're wearing. DNA and proteins. Okay, so we're going to be talking about three major things today. One I kind of already touched on a little bit, mutations. Some are good, some are bad. Messenger RNA, it's ribonucleic acid, and transfer RNA, which actually moves the portion of the DNA, okay? Oh, it's my chicken again. I love my chicken. Do you guys like the chicken? No, you don't like it? It's a rock star chicken, guys. Come on. Okay, so genes control the production of proteins in a cell of an organism. Proteins determine size, shape, and other traits of the organism. Guess what? Write it down, please. Okay, so we have this one down. So I want, just to recap, you guys should already have this in prior notes. If you don't, let me know really quick, and then I'll let you copy it down. But chromosomes are composed mainly of DNA, okay? Which DNA is made up of the nitrogen bases, so adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine, and they pair up, and that actually kind of makes you who you are, okay? So in order for the nitrogen bases to, along with the gene, to form a genetic code, so there's also phosphorus built in to the sides. So in the genetic code, a group of 3 DNA bases for one specific amino acid. So You're going to have the amino acid, which is actually kind of like these little guys that are built in to the transfer RNA. So that's the green piece, and then it will move the nitrogen bases out of your DNA and replace it. So that's what happens during replication. Okay. Let me think here. Go ahead and write that big bullet point down, and then the next one should have your what transfer RNA and the protein, the mRNA. Okay, so write down the main bullet point there. Don't worry about 3 and 4 yet. So let me start talking about what transfer RNA is. Okay, so transfer RNA is a molecule that carries out a specific amino acid to the ribosome. Okay, which they technically read the DNA. Okay, and it's a message within the RNA that is matched up with a 3-letter code, which is your nitrogen base. This protein then carries a chain that grows of each amino acid that is attached, and it forms like this really long chain of complex molecules to help for replication. Okay, so every single one of these. I know, sorry. So during protein synthesis, the cell uses information from the gene on the chromosome to produce a specific protein. The protein synthesis does occur on the ribosome in the cytoplasm in the cell, okay? DNA, however, is located within the nucleus. Before protein synthesis occurs, a genetic messenger called ribonucleic acid, or RNA, is made up of base on a code in the DNA. Unlike DNA, RNA has only one strand and has uracil instead of thymine. So U is replaced there instead of T. Let me know when you're all done. Let's keep going. We're recording again. Skip. Okay, so you guys do need to write down the second and third one mainly, and the last one. So the messenger RNA copies the coded message from the DNA in the nucleus and then carries it to the ribosome in the cytoplasm. The transfer RNA carries the amino acids and adds them to the growing protein. In the first step of protein synthesis, the DNA molecule unzips and directs the production of the messenger RNA. The messenger RNA then enters the cytoplasm and attaches to the ribosome, where it provides a code for the protein molecule that will form. So write the second one, third one, and fourth one are the last one, the fifth one, are the most important. If you're copying and pasting, just copy and paste them all. Okay, so almost done writing. Make sure that you have these down. If you need to, go back to the PowerPoint at a different point and copy more down if you need to. Okay, so let's keep going. Okay, so molecules transfer RNA attached to the messenger RNA and read the message by pairing up 3 codes to the bases of the messenger RNA. Write these down. The protein molecule grows longer as each transfer RNA molecule puts an amino acid it is carrying along the chain. So it continuously attaches that amino acid until that protein is built. So this is continuously growing, growing, growing inside of you as this is taking place. Go ahead and write both of those down. Okay, zooming forward. Okay, so this will be your last slide. Sometimes changes called mutations occur in the gene or the chromosome. Mutations can cause a cell to produce an incorrect protein during protein synthesis, meaning it could be beneficial. So it could be additional, let's just say this organism is like a frog, okay? Some people like frogs, some people don't. I happen to like frogs. Let's just say this frog is eaten by a certain type of predator. Well, this frog has a mutation, and it either camouflages it better, so that predator doesn't really see it anymore, or it creates a protein that makes it taste horrible when it's eaten. So what happens to that frog? Is that beneficial at that point? Yeah, okay. What happens if a mutation occurs and it loses a leg? Or the leg is now deformed? Is that going to be beneficial or harmful? Harmful, yeah, okay. So unfortunately, mutations do occur. Okay, it occurs in all organisms. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. What is one thing that we're dealing with right now across the globe with our pandemic? What is the virus doing? Anyone? What? Well, yeah, it's getting people sick, but the virus is mutating. You know the variants that they keep talking about? Well, the protein spike, okay, that is on the exterior that allows the virus to grab on to a human cell and then enter it, that is what's mutating. That's all the publications that I've read lately, is that one spike protein for the virus has mutated, and some of the variants are classified as more contagious, which is really interesting because a virus is technically not a living organism, but it still mutates. It still has DNA. Interesting, right? And something to kind of look into, how mutations affect organisms. So I want you guys to look through the rest of the PowerPoint at your own leisure. There's no stress on it because it's all review and pictures. Okay, so this is your last slide that you have to record, both of them. Does everyone have it down? Yes? Okay, so I'm going to stop recording really quick.